Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and welcome to this master class. The topic for our own class session would be is making your dairy business profitable. Making your dairy business profitable. And to anchor this session to take us through is Mr. Alex Gitonga. And let me just briefly read out his profile so we know him as we listen to him. He's currently a senior partner and value chain consultant at Tanolopi Consultancy Limited, and is a graduate of the University of Nairobi, very much experienced and qualified to take us through this topic. He's a team leader, a mentor, and result-oriented consultant. Teamwork and professionalism and performance-oriented management are the key to his style of leadership. And he's always motivated by the bigger picture, the vision and strategy, and he's a person driven by objectives. So please let's make welcome Mr. Alex Gitonga to take us through the topic, making your dairy business profitable. Thank you very much, Mr. Gitonga. You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Diana Basi. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. We are tackling how to make the dairy business profitable. The dairy value chain consists of the selling and dairy marketing. So when we talk about how to make that value chain profitable, we need to look at the dairy processing, dairy production, daily processing, and daily marketing. Make your business at the production level, especially the profitable. You need to look at some of the aspects of the dairy and daily with the other daily sectors like Turkey. We look at India, look at the Netherlands. And I liked one of the presenters talking about how the Nigerian dairy would grow to look at the countries that have the same geopolitical limits. About 350 liters of milk. Kenya has 1.4. Kenya has 4 million cows producing about 5.2 billion liters of milk. So, on the product, do you make that business profitable? Business planning for your business, however, that's very critical to do your business planning. Develop business models as a dairy investor, and also ensure that is most appropriate for that dairy farm. And please, it is very critical and very important to address and inefficiencies with investment. So, an internal consulting firm with 9 African countries. We have big projects we are doing in Ethiopia. We already have a client in Nigeria and farms. We are working in Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and also and what we are going wrong because we are really emphasizing on the small scale holder farming. If you look at the most successful holder farming model that has worked, it is Nigeria. Aspects from the India, and I was very keen to listen at Dr. Gupta in his issues. And I also listened to the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, which she was very articulated in her backward integration. We can be able to support the production side of it. In Kenya, we have installed a processing capacity of about 3.5 million liters per day. But we have not, the processors, the 30 processors and about 60 mini dairy processors in Kenya, they are not investing backward. They're not investing enough resources for the production side of it. So it is very important that the processors, they invest backward. And we also need to look at other jurisdictions like where they're providing about 40% of financing, where the investor comes in with about 60% of total projects, and the government injects about a grant of 40%. We need now, Africa is only producing the global milk. And in fact, 30-40% of that milk is coming from the sub-Saharan Africa. So it is very critical that I remember at some point my company was able to facilitate the signing of the MOU and the SADA, where we have exchange of skills, and the universities in Kenya and Nigerian can have exchange programs. And we can also have exchange visits. And we should be able now to transfer some skills on dairy production. A liter and a half liters in the traditional system. And in other system is the a little mixed system is producing about 4 or 5 liters. In Kenya, a cow is producing about 7 liters on average per day. To double the milk production in Africa. How can Africa double the 5% to 10% of the global milk production? In my thinking, in my view is that we need to get out of the smallholder farming slowly. We start now thinking around the backward integration, where even the milk processors come up with their own those dairy farms. You'll be able now to address the challenges of protein deficiencies, energy deficiencies, poor cow comfort, mineral deficiency, and water stress, heat stress. We'll be able even to integrate the whole fodder production mechanism as a revenue stream for that farm. So for you to make money when you're doing the dairy production, it is that you look at the whole dairy value. Look at what we say, the revenue diversification. Is a revenue training is a revenue stream. Consultancy is a revenue stream. Excess fodder, and then you make sure that that is a revenue stream. Let's now get to the processing, daily processing. Make the data processing. You address what we call the system inefficiencies. Ensure that your equipment they're working efficiently. Your labor costs are maintained low. Your factory overheads are maintained at low costs, and ensure that your losses, including the milk spillages and milk spoilages, are limited. And ensure that your production 30-40%. So that's how you can make your daily processing enterprise. Also, processor invest backward so that you train even those what is flying milk processing plant. Good quality milk, free from aflatoxin, free from chemical, biological, and physical contaminants. And we are our producers of milk. Let's ensure that we are producing milk that has low somatic cells, low bacterial count, from antibiotics and aflatoxin. Because aflatoxin is going to hit Africa in a bad way, in a big way. Yes. That's how you make your daily enterprise profitable, by doing the right business modeling, by right business doing business planning, getting low interest rate, low bank facilities or loans, or what is vacation, and ensuring that you also invest in the latest technology. Yes, and this is critical for the African market, because when I look at when we are doing the analysis, we are dealing with liquid milk. But the situation in Nigeria is opposite, because you are importing about 3 billion liters of milk. And actually it is worth about $2 billion US dollars. Importing 95% of your milk in full cream milk powder. And you can learn a lot from Kenya, which is already supplying its market with about 90% of its milk. Yes. So this is for
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you so much for that very incisive presentation. We are grateful for that. I'll open the floor for questions in no time, but just to make an announcement.
Thank you.
That we will be giving certificates for every attendee of this masterclass. Please, for all of us who are on the call, make sure that you write your name just the way you want it written on your certificate. Please type it in the chat box so we can take note of it. So having heard Mr. Chitonga, I'll now open the floor for those of us who have questions for him to please ask. You can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Babatunde Gbenga. Yeah, I just want to know what is required to start a dairy business.
That's a good one.
So if I get a feedback on that, then my other questions will come.
Thank you. Let me respond. I hope I can respond immediately. Required farm. Number one, you need to do, or let me start the way it's supposed to be. You are supposed to have passion to start a dairy farm, because knowing that dairy is not a sprinter, it's a journey, it's like a marathon, it's like running a whole marathon. So you need to be passionate. Number two, you need to do visibility study. You need to check, things here and there that are able to support your dairy sector, whether it is visible, it's going to be viable. And then from there, you do your business plan. The business plan will be able to bring out the design, the project designs, so the project is able to come up with the marketing plans and all those marketing strategies and everything. It's going to show you the profit and loss account. It's going to show you the return on investment. All those aspects will be in that document. But it's also very important to warn you that business plans are not static documents. But it's a good document to guide you. Then from there, once now you have that, within the business plan, there will be the implementation schedule, and then now project implement, you do your getting the contractors and your financing and all those things. And basically now from there.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Alex. Okay.
You're welcome.
Starting a dairy business, or do someone need to have a kind of a particular area, maybe region in the country to start it, or anywhere in any of the geopolitical zone, it's okay? Because I'm looking at the situation if herdsmen come to invade the farm. How do you try to control that?
Part of the visibility study. I was very keen to listen to what Madam Governor was talking about, and farmers being within a certain geopolitical area, within cooling, milk marketing, the bulking of milk, critical. That does not mean that you cannot do your daily investment in an area where there is no daily investors or daily farmers. If you want to do a heavy daily investment like Malai in Saudi Arabia, like also look at several factors that will go to support that daily investment. Of that area, the milk marketing, the temperatures, the availability of electricity, and yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, but
Yes, you can hear me. Yeah. I hope
not
I've answered
really,
your
because
question.
most of the time you were kind of breaking. So I think maybe I'll look for a way to maybe get in touch with you after this section, so that at least any further information I need to get, I'll be able to get it from you.
Sorry.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. More questions, please?
Okay, Alex, I have a question as well, and then I'll still leave the floor for others to ask. My question goes in the direction of funding, and you have spoken in detail about people who want to start dairy business and how they could make it profitable. So, what advice, what strategies do you have to share on how people who don't even have an idea of how to run a dairy business would access funds? Also, knowing that they haven't run the business before, they are startups, and they may not have the documentation that the financial institutions would want to offer them financing. So, what advice or strategies would you give to people who are just startups but need financing?
Excellent question. That's what we guide as a company, Tanalo Consulting Firm. I know even this you are able to provide such services. My advice to investors is to contact some credible consulting firms to be able to guide them in terms of packaging their ideas, their business idea, and also to to do the visibility study and the business plans, what we call a bankable business plan, and then to be able to firm could be able to advise on the financial institutions, health capital ventures that could be affordable credit, probably at very concessionary rates. Yes. It is very important to borrow money at a very low rate.
Hello, Mr. Alex.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks. Please, I would like to know what strategy can you use to market your feed to let the dairy farmer know that they need this? Because in Nigeria, majorly what we practice is nomadic farming. So how do we convince the farmers that this is better for you? Buy this instead of going for the free grass, instead of making them walk around to gather feed themselves. The feed and fodder is how do you show the importance of the feed and fodder for them? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's a good question. Marketing dairy feed in a nomadic environment is a tricky one, but I think nothing is so hard to crack than that. Number one, what is the dairy mill supplying to the cows? It is supplying the energy, the protein, the minerals, and some very little dietary fiber. So you can even design where you tell the nomadic community, keep some few cows, and then we provide you with some dairy milk, and then they will see the results. Probably the milk production will double or even triple. What we call a proof of concept. That way you'll be able to penetrate and advise them to how to integrate the dairy in their feeding system. On the forage side, there's something we call the ratio we use when you are feeding the cows. We ratio. So when you provide the you must equal good quality forage for that cow to use enough milk. So as a daily meal manufacturer, you should provide technical support to your clients or your potential clients or your potential farmers so that they are able now to grow quality forage, and also advise on other components that will be able to the concentrate side. In Kenya, we are to use wheat bran 1 kilo of wheat bran, 1 kilo of maize flour or maize germ. Provide grams of good quality amino supplements. So if you are able to address the manufacturer, low-hanging fruits of those cows, control, addressing heat stress and social stress, calling that those cows are comfortable. The increase in milk contributed to the brand of your dairy milk. And that way you'll also be able to market more of your products.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay, if you are just joining us, this is the session on making dairy visible. And we have Mr. Alex Jitonga on the call, who is our speaker and who has done a great job of speaking on this topic. We are currently taking questions, but before I allow the floor for the next question, please, if you're just joining us, we need your name, the way you want it written on the certificate, to be typed on the chat box, because we will be giving certificates for this master class. Please write your name the way you want it written on your certificate in the chat box. Thank you very much. Mr. Alex is still with us, and I think by our schedule, we still have 14 minutes to go for this session to end. So please, we can take a few more questions. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
More questions, more ideas, more opinions, more comments.
Dedeji Adeshile, you want to say something? Okay, Alex, I also have another question I would like you to deal with for us. And that has to do with accounting, bookkeeping, record keeping. You made mention of that when you were making your presentation. Yes, and I know that this is a major challenge for farmers, especially smallholder farmers in Nigeria. So I would like you to please expand on that, throw more light on that, because so many people have joined after you had discussed that. Please throw more light on effective record keeping, especially for small farmers.
Thank you for that. We normally say, if you can't make it, and if you don't keep, if you don't, then you are not able to know what you're doing, how much are producing, how much feeds are you providing to them, how much money are you spending on them, and that will ability. So once you have data, correct data recorded properly and in a better way, you'll be able to analyze the same data as a smallholder farmer or even as a large-scale farmer, and you are able to make several managerial decisions that will increase the profitability of your enterprise. You'll be able to do effective breeding program. You'll be able to do because things like routine activities like feed, like mastitis, checking mastitis, deworming, nation, you'll be able now to have a whole program that is synchronized within the time. In Kenya, we have systems that are coming up there. Something we have other products called the CowPro, and since the penetration of a mobile phone is about 90, farmer has a mobile phone. Those are Android enabled apps. They are, codes in the mobile phone. In the absence of that, we can have show the records, have the feeds records, the feeding record, the calving records, the growth records of the cow, and then you have what you call where you keep all the expenses in the farm. You also, they are very important. Let me talk about this because I know you have cows. They are called the Banija, the white Fulani breed. We need to do crossbreeding. I would really encourage, and this is critical for Nigeria. Don't go fully to the Fresians and the Holsteins and those modern exotic breeds. Probably, I know some material from here. The Zebus, the Borans, and the Sahiwas from Kenya, and then they are doing integration, and they are able to do breeding, effective breeding, for a cow that is producing about 20 to 30 liters. And they will develop. But if you start by lifting the Holstein from South Africa, from Netherlands, of the world, I think that that is not sustainable, and probably we may not have. It is very critical to breeding for the 20 so that we can have a crossbreed, and I would really want us to take care of the crossbreeds.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the insights. Just a follow-up question from what you've just said. You spoke about keeping records via their mobile phones, and that takes me to, that just directs my thoughts to the point of talking about technology. What are the available technologies that these farmers can use to make their operations more efficient and then make their businesses profitable? And I mean in all sectors of the business, not just in the accounting aspect.
Excellent question. We need to know about the mobile penetration in Nigeria, so that if there is anything mobile technology based, then you are able now to say we are developing an app that will be able to the farmers. In the absence of that, the private sector to get some form, even some breed forms, some feeding forms, some growth craft forms that they be feeding, able to help those farmers to do all that. But what is critical in Nigeria, again, the poor productivity of cows. And why are those cows not producing enough milk? There is protein deficiency, there is energy deficiency, there is mineral deficiency. Probably those, or they are irregularly dewormed. There is I mean, because using 1 liters or 2 liters per day, I'm very sure the same cow can produce 5 liters, probably 7, if not. So we need to support those farmers. Can the government or the private sector develop business models that can avail fodder seeds to those farmers? Can even the government plow some of the Desmodium, the Brachydia, the Brazilian Brachydia, the Panicum, the maize for silage, which is very cool. So to hanging fruit for Nigeria dairy industry is to develop a very vibrant fodder plan and implement so that the fodder will be able to fodder probably at subsidized rates and then for the new production. 350 million liters per year, like 20 million cows. That is that's quite very low. It will be very easy for us to do even 1 billion liters in 1 year.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you. It's been
Yeah.
a very interesting session. There's a question from Babajide at Debussy. Though I think you have dealt with this already, but let me just read it out. So if you have further insights you can give to us. He says, looking at the smallholder farmers we have presently in the dairy sector in Nigeria, and also the high illiteracy rate within the dairy households, what will you advise as the basic bookkeeping records that can be used? So we have a lot of illiterate farmers in Nigeria who would not be able to use those sophisticated technologies to keep their bookkeeping records. So what are those basic formats you would advise them to use?
That's a good one. We can develop, as I said, we can develop some forms, very simple forms that can be used for record keeping, whether it is breeding, whether it's feeding, whether it's production records. Very basic records, very basic form. And that will be able to keep those records. And I was comparing the Nigerian producer farmers there. It's about 17 cents of a USD. They are paying farmers at about 30 cents of a USD, or probably double the 17. So that's about 34 USD. So a low hanging to adjust the price or 20 or 22 cents. I know some of the processors like Abakar will not, but it is very critical that we again forward. So we encourage investment in the sector. Yes.
Thank you. Another question from Babajide says, also, looking at the viable cow stock, how can the local small-scale dairy farmer get better stock within the present economic constraint and low education?
Kenya implement, let me borrow from Kenyan system. Kenyan government implemented an AI system program early 70s. 1970s. So what I would think this through the private and probably the public sector, the sustainable programs. You to use bulls in Nigeria, the 20 million cows again will remain very low, produce very low milk. So, sustainable is not to lift a whole cow. It will be very easy for the Nigerian dairy industry to semen from Kenya, probably from the semen from Kagrik. And this is where I was talking about partnerships and exchange programs. The Kagrik in Kenya can have you with the Kagrik equivalent in Nigeria. And if information, sign some MOUs, export. We can also get semen from other jurisdictions, you know, and then we are able to improve the 20 million dairy cows in Nigeria. This is a second thing in Kenya right now. From the large scale farmers. So I think this is something that Nigerians can also learn. Of the black dollars from the oil and biggest billionaires in Africa. Fred and my business. Romero is within your area, is my friend. The Dagote is also there. So there are several people who have Nigeria, and they can invest in dairy farms like the Malay Nigerians or many other big farms. So to me, the government of Nigeria, probably with the help of the consultant, can be able to do the business model, develop the designs. Let's Bank of Nigeria, when she talked about milk processors having very and that way we'll be able to grow the dairy industry in Nigeria. Another one, Kenya and Nigeria, we call milk per capita consumption. We are doing at 122. Nigeria, I think, is about 30-40 liters per year. We need also to do and campaigns to ensure that we encourage milk. Many of the people in Nigeria and the West to milk. It is high time that we start now the consumption of liquid milk within develop you know produce. But Nigeria will have 200 million people. That's a ready market for any investor. Come up with the business models. Probably we can be integrated for investment.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing such a great job.
You're most welcome.
And you have dealt with the questions in a very, very professional manner. We are really grateful for that. I don't think we will be taking any more questions because our time is almost up. But I can see that some of us on the call have not written our names in the chat box for the certificates. We at a point had 16 people on the call, but right now I have 12 names written out. Please, if you are here and you've not written your name for the certificate, please do so now before we go off. And I'd like to thank all of you who have joined this session. I believe that you've been enlightened and you've got more knowledge and insights on how to run a profitable dairy business, even in Nigeria. So I would encourage us now to go back to the main stage. So you go back to the left side of your screen and you click on stage, so you can join the main platform for the closing remarks and wrap up. Thank you so much, all. Thank you. It's been a very rewarding session, and I appreciate all of us.
Thank you.
Okay. See you on the main stage.
Thank you. Okay.